We're going to have a discussion today, a little chit chat about, is it autistic burnout or is it depression or is it both? Now, before we dive in, I'm not a medical professional, right? This is all just based on my lovely lived experience up in here. You know how we do. So I'm not attempting to diagnose you. I'm just sharing my experience in the hopes that maybe it can give you a little bit of insight into something you might be experiencing, some things to think about. I do not speak on behalf of all autistics out there in the world. Okay, that's not the aim here. So if your experience is different than mine, I don't wish to invalidate you in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it's a great conversation starter. Hop down in the comment section and leave your thoughts as respectfully as you can, of course, please. Don't go chewing my head off. You know, I know some people like to, but listen, it doesn't taste very good, so it's okay. But I want to talk to you guys today because this is like at the forefront of my existence at the moment. Is it severe autistic burnout or is it depression? My doctor is like, no, it's depression, because you will see there's a bit of a theme in that most of the people who I have been going to for help with what I've been experiencing are not well versed in autism. So that's been kind of the theme of the last little while. And I've had to spend a lot of time doing my own research and doing my own like fact checking. And, you know, I'm watching other people's content. I'm trying to make heads or tails of this situation. And it got so bad. Okay, you know what? Let's just horses. We're going to rein them in momentarily. Hi, I'm Courtney. I am 38 years old. I was diagnosed as autistic at age 35. What a wild roller coaster it has been. I've got a video linked somewhere for you guys to check out on my whole autism assessment journey. But basically, about 5 or 6 years ago, I started experiencing some weirdness. And before you run to my comment section to diagnose me with all kinds of stuff, just know I got a whole healthcare team of people. I have been tested for all kinds of things. I know there's still lots of stuff potentially on the table, but this isn't the place to do that because you will give me the health anxiety. For me, it's real. So please just be aware of that. That's my nice little boundary, okay? So I was like tired all the time. I was woozy all the time. I couldn't really figure it out. I was extra agitated all the time. Things that were bothering me, I couldn't quite figure it out, were bothering me so much more. Like things that shouldn't bother you, like your partner's nose whistling, your dog breathing a little bit too loudly, children playing outside, cars, cutlery on dishes, just sounds and just things. Suddenly the world was always too bright and too loud, and textures of my clothes started to become a problem. My hair, which used to be down to my ass, was really starting to become a problem. Like I was having to braid it and tie it back all the time. I was finding it a lot more difficult to manage the sort of day-to-day stressors in my life. And at that point, we hadn't figured out, obviously, the autism of it all. But I was just noticing, like, God, it's getting really difficult. And my anxiety was very high. I wasn't really as excited about things that I was usually excited to do for many reasons. And I actually get a little bit into this in last week's video. So if you want to check that out, I'll have it linked somewhere as well, where we just go into the really stupid thing I did in trying to convince myself that a specific thing was a special interest in an effort to bypass burnout as like some kind of great hack to get myself to work harder. Oh God, don't be like me. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. And all the while, I'm just thinking like, you're being lazy. Like, what's wrong with you? You have to work harder. Like everyone says, just put yourself out there and see more people and try harder and do all of the things. This is not good advice for autistic people, generally, as a very general umbrella situation here. These things that work great for other people do not work great for us. You heard my disclaimer, okay? I don't want to have to say it every time I spill a thing. This is just in my experience, okay? And it's getting worse. Like, it's getting worse. I'm having digestive upsets all the time. Like, it is becoming a chronic, constant, like, everything in my body is just becoming an issue, right? And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, this is shit. Like, there is something wrong with me. And like I said, because I've had some scary things happen. Not like they didn't end up being scary, but at the time they were scary health things that had happened. And I was not listened to, and it was just all handled very poorly, and I have a lot of health-related upset, okay? Then I get the autism diagnosis. Oh, that was a bitch. I find out that like, oh yeah, autistic burnout's a thing. Not medically speaking, like no medical professionals out there. I mean, maybe there is somebody, but nobody's out there like, yeah, that's the thing you're dealing with. No. Everything under the sun except for the thing that makes the most amount of sense. So, you know, and I've been to see my sort of family doctor a couple of times for this, being like, I can't cope anymore. Like, I cannot cope. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I wake up every morning and I'm like, please, no more. I can't do it. I can't do it. This is too much. Please, just anything. And and the problem is, right? And I talked about this in another video where I mirror the person that I'm talking with, and because I so badly want and need for you to like me, I will just push it. I will be you if I have to. I will do whatever it takes to convince you that we're all good here. Absolutely no worries. Yeah, I'm doing great, actually. You know, I kind of just, you know, it's fine. And nobody has enough common sense to pick up on this, but that's neither here nor there. If you don't know how the autistic brain works, or, you know, at least my autistic brain works, you're not going to notice that I'm faking it so hard. Oh, that it's everything I can do just to hold it together to get through the conversation. And yes, it occurs to me that this is unhelpful. It occurs to me that this isn't a great way to let a healthcare professional know. But I feel like I'm lying either way. I feel like if I have to put on a big show and tears and a whole thing to convince you, if I can't just tell you and you can't just hear the words coming out of my mouth, I feel like we have a bigger issue. So I have been told time and time again that, of course, I've got generalized anxiety disorder and I'm depressed and all of these things. But there are a few key points, and there's some overlap. Like, there's lots of overlap. I don't blame my doctors for being like, yeah, depression's probably it. Because if you don't have the knowledge and you haven't done the research and you don't know that much about autism, and let's face it, most doctors don't, it's not okay, but it's okay. I get it. You don't know what you don't know. The big problem is these two things are not treated the same. Like, the solution to these two things is not the same. Okay, fantastic. So like, what do you mean, Courtney? Like, what are the things? So I was given the option of trying medication, which I didn't opt to do. And I will underline this in full, all caps, underlined, bold. Medication can be a life-saving thing. I do not deny that in the slightest. For me, it wasn't the path that I wanted to take. For you, it may need to be the path that you take. And I support you 1,000%. Whatever it is you need to do, however it is, with your healthcare team, you make it happen. It's going to be what it's going to be. I would like to sincerely thank my neighbors for choosing now as the optimum time to get whatever little blower device out and make all kinds of noise. Thank God for noise canceling headphones, I'll tell you that for nothing. So I was given the option for medication and a ton of therapy. I have more psychologists and psychiatrists. I got them coming out of every which way right now. Like, there's people out there wanting to help me. And there's been a few who have been stellar. I will say the dietitian and the occupational therapist, the physiotherapist, and the other psychologist who I'm still doing my initial intake with, those guys have been phenomenal. Phenomenal. And not necessarily because they have all that much knowledge of autism, but when I brought it up, they didn't immediately shut me down. They were like, hey, actually, let's look into this a little bit further. And two of them specifically made an effort to hear what I was saying and work what I was saying into the solution to the problem. Bless you people. Holy cow. So therapy, so depression and the overlapping symptoms. I think that because I've been just steadily increasing the severity of the burnout situation, that yes, depression has become part of the equation now. Because I'm depressed, I hate every minute of my life. I hate that I can't just exist in a space and not want to scream at every minute of the day for something. Like, if I can tell you, my body temperature's gone up like 5 degrees because I can feel that person. Like, I am so done with all of the extra shit. Do you know what I mean? Like if bless my mom, if she accidentally slams a cupboard, I am through I'm in orbit. Okay? All the time. Like, who wants to be like that? Who wants to live like that all of the time? Like, because when you're in that state for so long, it just starts to become too much. And of course that's going to make you depressed. Like, that just feels like two things that just connect. So while I see a lot of people talking about, well, no, it's this or that, I do feel like there is and can be an overlap, this and that, because I'm living in a world that wasn't designed for me. I am completely burnt out, trying so hard to make sure that I am safe, that people like me, that all of this crap, trying to live my life and balance and juggle all of the damn balls I have up in the air all the time, that of course I think depression, but they're not seeing the root cause. And I don't feel like what I said before still applies. For me personally, I don't feel like medicating these symptoms is a solution to the problem. I feel like solving and fixing the root cause that has led to all of this bullshit is the solution to the problem. Okay? So accommodations, rest, so much rest. Guys, I nap for like an hour to 2 hours every day. Like, I'm done. Like, I will work for a bit. Like, I'll film here and I've got probably an hour and a half of downtime coming my way immediately after this, because this will take a lot out of me. I'm going for walks in areas where I know there's not a lot of cars and there's not a lot of people. I'm doing my best to give myself downtime. And so a lot of the things that you'll tell, like, okay, so for a depressed person, and this is not medical advice, but here are things that I've heard. Well, you need to get out there. You need to spend time doing the things that you love and going out and being around people. And that is not good advice for me. Because you have to understand what has led me to be depressed is the constant state of burnout that I'm in. And the constant state of burnout that I'm in is actually caused by overstimulation, by excessive masking, which I have to do for everybody to an extent. Even around my bestest friends. Okay? I still mask because it's also out of respect, because my dearest friends are also on the spectrum somewhere. And I know that my loud outbursts can be overwhelming. And I know that they too have things that they wish to discuss about their special interests. And I also know that if I'm not clearly displaying my face, because we've all got our shared trauma. Now, generally speaking, with my friends, we have an agreement that, like, hey, if you don't know what's going on, clarification clause, we actually call it Courtney's clarification clause. If you need to ask me at any point, there is nothing bad. I will have no reaction. If you're like, hey, you are a little bit spicier than usual, what's going on? You just ask. I will have no upset. And that goes for you guys too. If I say something and you're like, wow, that didn't land, or did you mean this when you said this? You guys are also absolutely welcome to clarify. Just as flat out as you can be, just, hey, when you said this, is this what you meant? And I will just go, because sometimes the shit that pours out of my mouth is not going to come across the right way. It's just a fact of life. In this autistic brain of mine, it just happens sometimes. So what are you going to do? And vice versa. I expect that if you say something, that I too am allowed to be like, hey, yo, is that what you meant when you said this? It has come across this way to me. Was that how you expected this to go? Because I just want to make sure. And no harm, no foul. But I'm having to mask every time I leave the house. I run into a neighbor. I have to go grocery shopping. I have to go out and run an errand or a task or whatever. I have to see family. I have to see friends. And again, I am not 1,000% unmasked, even around family, even though bless my family for being very supportive and understanding. But the maximum level of me is very often too much for the general population. So I do cap it. And that, believe it or not, requires an immense amount of effort. And the longer that you do this, the more effort that it increases exponentially. So the more effort it requires and the more burnt out that you get, the more and more effort it requires. This is not a nice thing. What I need to help with this is a downtime. I need no commitments. Do not expect me to come out and do anything. I have cut off basically all responsibility and everything. Like, my business is in limp mode right now, in the like bare minimum. Orders come in and I respond to emails once a week, and like, that's it. Okay, now, am I wonderfully blessed that I have a husband who, as soon as we got the job situation sorted, because he was off work for a while, he was like, all right, you're back in rest mode, let's go. And he is so supportive for that. It's actually a little bit insane to think that, because I don't do much. I mean, I will upkeep the house a little bit and I clean, but I don't cook. He cooks. I don't do much else. I am not really all that much of a contributor. I mean, I do my fair share for the dog and and all of those things. And I am trying to uphold my end of the bargain, but he knows that this is basically like, not, I don't want to be dramatic here, do or die kind of a situation. And that's not any kind of a threat at all. But I am not kidding. Like, when there was a few weeks there, I have never been that scared for my existence ever. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm only 38. There was a while there, I couldn't imagine another potentially 30 years of this. I was like, you have got to be shitting me. This is not going to happen. Now, I want to take this opportunity to say super fast, because you're like, well, great, Courtney, you've given us all of this shit. How do I deal with this? So on my Ko-fi, and I'm not asking for money, it's all free. So on my Ko-fi page, okay, it's linked down below. I'll try and link it somewhere in the cards for you guys as well. I have started putting just a crap ton of the resources, the things that are working for me that might also work for you. Now, and underline this, I am my very specific flavor of autism, and we may not be the same flavor, and that's totally fine. What I'm hoping for you, grab the resources and use it just as a stepping off point. If you are at a complete loss for how to accommodate yourself, how to build little safe spaces. I just put a new one up today, Autistic nest building. Oh, I had such fun doing that. You want to put a binder together. You want to use it as a stepping off point to give yourself some inspiration, okay, to get the ball rolling. Because very often, if you're like me, staring at a blank page is doing nothing for you. You're like, okay, I'm going to make a plan, and it's going to be a good plan. And then you get up and go do something else because your ADHD autistic ass is freaking 58 different points of the thing, and then you just never get around to it. So just give yourself a stepping off point. If this stuff doesn't resonate, that's actually a good thing. It's important to know what you resonate with and what you don't. Just know this is a safe space. As long as we are all as respectful as we possibly can be towards each other and our shared and lived experiences, that's all that I want. But I want to hear from you guys, because your thoughts really matter. And you never know who's going to be out there reading what you've posted and be like, this is my person. This person sees me. We share this, anyways. But this is where I've been. I have been in this what is it hell for most, since my 20s, for most of my life. Most of my adult life, I've been spent no, you just have anxiety disorder, or you have a panic disorder, or you have this disorder. And nobody ever clued in that actually you're just massively autistically burned out. And you just need a break. Give me a break. Seriously. Over the last little while, things that I've been doing to recover on this burnout, journey is now that I've reconnected with my special interest. Again, last week's video, go check it out. I have been spending a great deal of time in what I have affectionately decided to call Dino Land. I'm using that to balance myself, to regulate when I need to get away from it all and have control over my situation. That's where I go. And I can feel it. And then I'm also very careful, because an excessive amount of time spent at my computer also causes problems. So for example, yesterday, I spent a good chunk of the day cleaning, and I had let this place go. That's another thing. As you start to regulate, it just executive dysfunction, and there were just basically piles of garbage and food, containers and just crap just everywhere. So I gave the place a serious once over, a vacuum, a wipe, a dust, the works. And then we went for a huge long walk, which was it was magic. But then I came back and dove right into my special interest, because guys, we're going to be working. We're continuing work. Probably continued a lot of work since you're seeing this on a Friday. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we've been working on my Canadian Dino Land, and I'm so excited about it. But I noticed, I was sitting here and I'm like, uh-oh, the bad feelings. And I'm starting to be able to identify the rumblings and the bad feelings before they become the rumblings. And I was like, shit, you know what? I haven't had any downtime today. I didn't have my nap. Big no-no. I didn't have any horizontal downtime. So immediately shut everything down. I got some snacks. I got some water. I crashed on my favorite nest in the house, on my couch. And I curled up. I threw on a Golden Girls. I watched some dinosaur shows. I watched Terra Nova because I'm watching that again because hate that there's not more of that. Hate it. Same with Prehistoric Park. How dare you give me more dinosaur TV shows? Anyways, neither here nor there. Enjoying it all immensely. And then I was like, okay, good. We did a good. Then we had to take the dog out for his last business, and I could feel that it was almost no good. So what I do in that instance is I don't handle the dog when I'm feeling like that for my sanity. Mostly the dog doesn't seem to really care. I'm just slowly like, ugh. I pass him to my husband, and then I just kind of go into quiet mode, just like focus on just bringing it back to center, because I love going out for walks, and nighttime walks are just fantastic. That's the important thing. Anyways, then I came back, and instead of further stimulating myself with more television, because we were watching Camp Cretaceous, can you see a theme? Yeah, I decided to just go straight to bed. So I went straight to bed. I think I looked at a few dinosaur pictures I had taken of Harley, and then I'm listening to a fantastic dinosaur audiobook right now, just basically the life and times, the whole history of the whole thing. Very fascinating. And I fell asleep to that, and I was gone, and I slept the night through. And today I have made sure that I haven't had food yet, so I do need to make sure that's a thing, but I have had water, I had my tea, I have showered, like the meat suit has otherwise been taken care of. Teeth are brushed, all of that jazz, before I got into the rest of what I had to do today. So there are a lot of things that I am doing regularly to try and set myself up for success. So my home is not Instagram worthy in that sense. I'm not going to be in any kind of a magazine cover. This is not going to be a thing. But as I'm making more and more discoveries, recently I moved all of my vitamins into the bathroom because my routine, I have been watching myself, my routine is to bring what's left of my tea into the bathroom when I go to have my shower and listen to my audiobook. And my vitamins are right there. And well, heck, I have a drink in my hand. I mean, this also, it definitely, like, if you have to take it with food, maybe it's a little bit of a different thing. What I'm taking is okay to take with just tea. So I do that. Boom. It's done. So, there's just little things that I'm doing to try and make my life a little bit easier. And it is slowly coming together, which is really good. All of that said, I don't want you to think that it can't be both. But I do think if you are experiencing like all your sensory stuff is worse, and it's just socially, you're like, just don't even talk to me. And your doctor's like, oh, it's depression. This is not medical advice. I'm just telling you what I experienced was like, oh, it's definitely just depression. We're going to medicate you. The last 2 weeks have been a delight. My special interest has literally brought me back to life. I have been out, I've been feeling a little bit more social, but not really. I can still feel that I am not out of the woods yet, but I wake up excited to still be here because it means more dinosaurs. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's been such a huge part of my recovery so far. But I am not feeling all the symptoms of depression that I was feeling when I was feeling completely hopeless and like I was dying, because I didn't think that the pain of the sensory experience would ever stop, or that I would ever start to feel better. And I am starting to feel better now. I've connected a few more dots. I've made a few more changes. I'll tell you, the few people that I've dealt with, the one psychologist and the dietitian especially, those two have been hugely validating in my experience. And that was also a little bit of a turning point for me. And I'll just say, like, it isn't hopeless. And I know it feels hopeless right now, but we just haven't put the pieces, and I don't want to say puzzle because this is a different puzzle, okay? And you just need to figure out what's going on. And once you do, once you start connecting those dots, you are going to start to feel better. And I know it doesn't feel that way. And I want to take now, I want to say, okay, it's your turn. I want to pass you guys the talking stick or the shell, the conch, whatever you want to call it. Give me your thoughts on your experience, depression versus autistic burnout, and the overlap. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your experiences only if you feel safe to do so. Always, you are welcome to lurk. There's no pressure. I see you and I feel your presence regardless. But if you do feel safe to do so, it is very helpful to the rest of the community as well as myself. You guys have given me a lot of ideas on things that I could implement in my life, other ideas and resources that I could put together or share, and video topics like this one, for example. So let's keep the conversation going, please. And just know, if I had one little pearl of wisdom, as it were, is even though I am feeling significantly better, I still have very low moments. And in those low moments, I am doing my very best not to get on my case. Instead, I'm thinking of myself like a plant. Okay, what do I need? I'm not thriving at this exact moment. Do I need to be faced more towards the sun? Do I need more water? What do I need? Fresh soil. And then I try to apply that to the meat suit and say, okay, does the meat suit need rest? Am I hungry? Like, what do I need to help myself feel better? Even if all you can do is just crash in your little nest or your bed or your couch or your floor or wherever and just rest for a little bit, it is doable. It's not pleasant, but it's doable. Okay, that is going to be it for me today. I have a feeling this was a long one. I love you guys so, so much. I see you. I am so happy to have you here. And I look forward to catching you guys all again in the next video. If you want to hang out with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Twitch is linked below. We can still continue the autism conversation. It does happen quite a bit, cover a lot of topics there. Otherwise, I'm on Blue Sky pretty much daily. So if you want to hang out, follow me on there and we can chat and have conversations over there. And that's it. Otherwise, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will catch you all again in the next one. Bye for now.